In the small handful of the last videos I've posted to my channel, have 3 of them been about Arrtx acrylic markers? Yes. And today we are raising that number to 4 because Arrtx sent me their new sets of their simptap acrylic markers, which Arrtx themselves has a couple of different lines of acrylic markers. These ones are definitely my favorite. They behave the most like normal acrylic markers, so I love these ones, and these ones are primarily different because they have a larger color selection. Previously, there was only a set of 24, and now they have a 48 and 36 set, which is very exciting. These sets themselves, the packaging is the first thing I noticed that was like so much nicer. Here I'm showing the 24 set that I had previously that they had sent me. As you can see, it's like slightly dented in the front. It's mainly made of like paper. It's like pretty thick paper versus the new sets are made out of cardboard. Lot sturdier, lot thicker actual like packaging. And then for the pens themselves, here's a comparison of the pens. Currently you're seeing the old one on top and the new one on the bottom. Really the only thing that's even visually different when it comes to these new markers is that they have a little plastic cap on the pump that's on the back of the pen, just to ensure that the pen itself doesn't get activated during transit or while in storage or anything like that before you get a hold of the markers, which is nice. Aside from that, the only like actual difference is they upgraded the valve, so it's supposed to have a more durable nib. I don't know how that works. I don't know anything about that, but that is just the information I was provided. The markers themselves, I've used their simptap markers before, and something I love about them is when you activate them, instead of normal acrylic markers that I've seen on the market previously, they have a bullet nib and you pump the bullet nib against a paper. So you're essentially just like repeatedly pushing the tip of the marker into a paper to activate it. These ones instead have a button on the back that you push to activate them, and it is so satisfying to activate these markers because you push the button and you immediately see the ink shooting out. So lovely. I did have a couple of these markers that the cap was not on the back of it. It had fallen off in the box, so I think they got pumped independently. And I did have a couple that I pumped the little back button and they were really leaky at first, so I did have to keep like a paper towel to the side when I was working with these markers. I definitely noticed that the leakiness went away, so that's definitely not something that's going to be long lasting. And then other nitpicky thing about these markers, which I guess is the least nitpicky thing that I will be nitpicking, is that the colors of the caps don't match the colors of the ink very well. Some are definitely better than others. None of them are like fantastic, unfortunately. Which, given this is something that I've definitely noticed when it comes to Arrtx art supplies, is that the caps, like the colors on the body of the art supply, don't really match the color of the actual thing. That's happened to me with their acrylic markers, both different kinds, alcohol markers, and I want to say colored pencils too. I don't 100% remember, but I want to say colored pencils too. And this is something that is most common, in my opinion, with alcohol markers. That might just be because I'm more familiar with alcohol markers than anything else. I don't have that much experience with like a bunch of different brands of acrylic markers. And it is an inconvenience, and I wish it wasn't so, but it's like, it's still very easy to use the products. You just have to keep a swatch card with you. But life would be easier if the body matched the actual ink that was coming out. So that's what I have to say about that. In terms of these new sets, like I said, it was just pretty much like the valve is changed slightly and they have those little caps on the back. Aside from that, the markers themselves are pretty much the exact same as the older version of the simptap markers. The only other change here is because you're getting more markers, you're obviously getting a larger color selection. And specifically the things about these 2 sets that they talked about are that there are more earth tones and there are more skin tones, which I like the color selection by all means, but I feel like it's so incomplete, and I feel like there are certain things with the color selection that's redundant. First and foremost, I am going off of the 48 count set of these markers. It looks like the 36 count, it has the exact same colors. The 48 count just has 12 new ones. Sometimes when companies do different sized sets, you might see some that are exclusive in smaller sets that don't come with the larger sets in terms of the color selection. That does not look like the case here. In using these markers, I started off with this piece of Chapel Roan because I love her so much, and God, I love her. So I started off with a piece of Chapel Roan from the VMAs because all of her fits were so good. And I didn't have like the color selection that I really wanted. So I went with something else. Actually kind of hated it at first, but ended up loving it. So that's so good for me. But in this color selection, I just feel like it's missing so much, even though it has so many colors. And I feel like it would definitely benefit from having more of a variety in lights and darks of certain colors. This is entirely nitpicky. I actually really like these markers and would highly recommend them. I think they're absolutely fantastic markers. The simptap line from Arrtx has beautiful, beautiful markers. I'm just gonna get really nitpicky about the color selection real quick. And that's because when I was using the grays in another piece that I started drawing, I was truly fighting for my life because a lot of the grays are really similar in tone, just different in hue. So like, they're all kind of like mid light tone grays, and there's some cooler ones and some warmer ones, but it makes it really difficult when you're trying to use those grays to shade because they don't really shade, they just kind of change the hue, and so it looks super flat and it's kind of hard to work with the grays. On top of that, there's really like, there's too many yellows and oranges in this set, and I don't know, I needed more warmer colors, but I needed like a darker red or maybe like a really light red instead of so many yellows and so many light tan colors. And I don't know, if I were to make a set of 48, I wouldn't do it like this. And again, that's just like entirely preference, entirely nitpicking based. I just don't like how similar so many of the colors are when instead there could have been a larger variety of like more different colors. I also, nitpicking, this is just like entirely nitpicking, I don't like green selection. I'm such a fan of like poopy sappy greens, and this just isn't doing it for me. They're very like green greens, and I want them to be yellow greens, and they're just primarily like, there's bluish greens and just green greens. Again, nitpicking, entirely my preference. I love these markers, I really do. I just like, I don't know, I feel like I would love to be able to make like a color selection for art supplies, or like make like a watercolor palette that has colors I choose, or like an alcohol marker set of colors of my choosing, because I think that would be so fun. Maybe some companies should do that. They should just have like quote unquote open stock markers, but you like pick 48 that you want and they put it in a set for you. That would be so good. Someone needs to get on that. Aside from that, I love these markers. They peed a little bit at the beginning where the ink was just like flying out, and the color selection is not my favorite, but the markers themselves perform so well. I'm really impressed with the actual like coverage capabilities of these markers and how you can go over darker things with lighter markers to cover them up. So fantastic when you make mistakes, as I did in this piece a couple times. I wanted to have more depth in her skin tone, but there were like really light colors and then there were pretty dark like lighter tan colors, so it was kind of hard to blend them together, and that just wasn't working for me. So I had to like redo her skin once, and the lighter color laid over the darker color really well, was very opaque. So fantastic. And as I'm sure everyone surmised from the title and the thumbnail, I'm doing a giveaway of these markers. Thank you to Arrtx for offering to do a giveaway through me. I think that's so fun, and I love it when companies are like, do you want to do a giveaway? Because it's like, yeah, I want to do a giveaway. Yeah, I want people to also get free things. So I'm doing a giveaway for both of these sets of markers to go to one winner. There's going to be a Google Forms link in the description below. That's just how I'm doing the giveaway. It's the first time I've done it like that, so we'll see how it works. But YouTube is so weird to do giveaways on, because if I'm like I've done a giveaway before and I was like, yeah, just like leave a comment and you'll be entered in the giveaway. The problem with that is you can't like direct message people on YouTube. You haven't been able to do that for a very long time. So it does make it a little confusing in getting a hold of the person, because it's like, wow, I hope you have your YouTube notifications turned on, and I hope you see this one notification that I replied to like weeks later when the giveaway's over. So we're trying it with a Google Forms. So one lovely person will be randomly chosen on October 14th. The giveaway itself goes until the 13th, and then on the 14th, I will reach out to the winner via email and then get their mailing information and send that over to the representative I've been working with from Arrtx. And then someone will be getting these lovely markers as well, which is so exciting because I really do like these markers. I feel like they're a really good option for like a Posca and Molotow kind of like alternative that's way less expensive. Because the 36 and the 48 set have repeating markers and the 36 set is just the 48 set with 12 less markers, I will be doing an independent giveaway for the 36 set over on my Patreon. I'm not doing it right now, but I will do it in the next couple months before the end of the year. That way it gives someone else the opportunity to get a hold of these markers, and especially with how many acrylic markers I have currently from Arrtx, I certainly don't need to hoard another pack. So I will make a community post on YouTube and also post information to my social media whenever that ends up happening in the next couple of months here, so look out for that in the future as well. As you can see, Aslan also was so involved in this video. I love that man so much, you guys. I don't know the last time I updated talking about my cats in detail, but I want to talk about Aslan because he's my firstborn son. I actually have 5 cats now, which is something that I never anticipated happening to me. I had 3 independently. Those were my children. I gave birth to all of them, my babies. And then started dating my partner, and he already had 2 cats. And so like he moved in and now I have 5 cats, which is so much. And it's like slightly overwhelming. I love them all so much though. Truly the funniest thing that happened is the fact that I have 2 cats named Beans now. Two cats named Beans. What are the chances? I think I've talked about that previously. I'm not really sure. It's such a blur. But yeah, I have 2 cats named Beans. But Aslan, love of my life, my firstborn son. Good God, I hate, well, that's not true. I don't hate to have favoritism between my pets. I do have distinct favoritism between my pets. And I justify it by the time at which I met them and like who I've known the longest. So unfortunately, longevity is where favoritism comes in. And good God, Aslan was my first cat. I got him when I think I was 18 when I adopted him, and I'm 26 now. So I've had that boy for 8 years, which is like crazy. I love that man so much. He's gonna be turning 10 next year, which is so crazy. I'm so excited for him. I know a lot of people get upset when their pets are aging and getting older, but anytime Aslan gets a year older, I'm like really excited for him because I adopted him when he was 2 and he is FIV positive. So if you don't know what FIV is, it's called feline immunodeficiency virus. It's essentially an immune compromised cat, so they are more likely to get certain kinds of sicknesses. Their immune system is weakened, and so it's harder for them to be treated for certain things as well. There's so much information on the internet about it, but a lot of people like don't like FIV cats just because they are anticipated to have a much less lifespan than a not FIV positive cat, which is like really sad. And I remember when I first adopted Aslan, I took him to a family friend vet. So like a vet office that was a family friend. And they offered to do blood work when I first got him. And I was like, sure, why not? Like, let's see if there's like any distinct thing that he has issues with so we can treat. And the way this vet came back and was like, yeah, he's FIV positive. Like, I'd recommend you get a different cat, like return him to the shelter and get a different cat. I can't believe a full grown man said that to me. I'm so glad I didn't take him back. I love this man. He was such a freak when he was younger, but now he's old and he's like, he has no teeth anymore because he had so many dental issues. He has stomatitis, which essentially is just like an infection that repeatedly happens around the teeth and gums. So he has no teeth anymore. They all got ripped out to try to prevent the stomatitis from happening, which boy sure did keep happening even though he had no teeth. He also has thyroid issues, so he gets like so many things. Like he has thyroid medication he gets twice a day. He has a monthly injection I have to take him to the vet for that's supposed to help with early arthritis as well as stomatitis, which is fantastic. And he gets an expensive little immune support supplement every single day because I want this man to live for so long. When I first adopted him and that terrible, terrible man told me, like, you should return this cat and get another one. He's probably going to die in a couple years. The way I was so scared. And I was so sad. And I remember going home and just like sobbing, being like, what the hell? But yeah, so when Aslan gets older, I get really excited because I'm just like, that's fucking crazy, dog. You made it until 10. Well, he better make it until 10. He's not there yet. If something happens to him in the next couple of months, I will simply go insane. I wish that was an exaggeration. It's not. I will go insane. But he's going to be turning 10 next year. His birthday is the beginning of January, so I'm very excited. And every year that he gets another year older, I'm just like really happy, and I'm happy he's as old as he is, and I'm happy that like nothing's happened to him. Mind you, like a lot of FIV positive cats can live a normal lifespan, entirely normal lifespan. It just kind of depends when the FIV sets in, and once the issues start, they don't stop. But Aslan's doing fantastic, even though he has no teeth, and even though he's an old man, and even though he has thyroid issues, amongst so many other things. Oh, I love him so much. I feel like recently he also has just been having so much energy, and he's been playing with one of the cats named Beans so much. I love him. He's also so clingy, and like, I would literally do anything for all of my cats, like any of them. I would do anything. They are my children. I gave birth to them. I've never been like a human child person. But I am, in fact, an animal person, and specifically for my cats, oh my goodness. I never thought I'd be a cat person. I was always like a really big dog person growing up, and then I got a cat, and I was just like, wow, these little creatures that live in my home are so easy to take care of, and they're just like so self-sufficient and so lovely. Cats are great. People who are cat haters, they deserve to be locked up. Also, people who let their cats outside, y'all also deserve to be locked up. Like, a lot. I refuse to go down that rabbit hole, actually, because if I get anyone in the comments who's like, but my cat, like, needs to be an outdoor cat because they have so much energy and they'll destroy stuff inside. If I get comments like that, that will also make me go insane. So we're just gonna pass on from that subject. As you can see, I am once again drawing Chapel Roan. I love her so much. Her VMAs outfits were so freaking good. I don't know how to draw armor very well. I've done it a couple times, but I was not willing to go like super into detail, so I just did a bust drawing of her. I really struggled with armor, like I was mentioning about the grays earlier. There just isn't much like difference in tone, so I was truly fighting for my life dealing with like the slightly different hues of grays, but in the end I do like how it turns out. Also, this set comes with 2 different metallic colors. It comes with a silver and a gold, and those are so lovely for accents. I don't normally use metallics in my artwork because I feel like there's a really fine line between metallics being used as accents, which is like cute, quirky, cool, and metallics being overused in a way that turns your art piece into like a 4th grader's art project where they slapped metallics and glitter and stuff all over it. So specifically with the kind of art that I make, metallics don't have the biggest place for it, but for accents on the armor and little things like that, I think the metallics are really nice. They're both also insanely opaque and lovely and beautiful. I was fighting for my life a little bit when it came to doing these leaves though, because like I mentioned, I also don't like the green selection that's available in this set. Not the end of the world, still are lovely markers, but God, I wish there were more like poopy, sappy greens. I want like really, really yellow greens. Borderline, I just want like a dirty yellow color. Like a yellow with a little bit of green in it, and like make it dark. Give me a poopy, sappy yellow green. That is like really, really it for me right now. I want that in everything I own. I actually just want everything to be poopy green. I would also love to praise these markers on the brush nib. I was able to get such fine lines with the brush nib of these markers. It is so good. The way I was able to get, for example, the black markers in to do the eyelashes and tiny details like that through these pieces, I was so glad with the crisp lines I could get with them. I was able to do so much precise detailing with just like the tiniest little tip of the marker. It was so good. It was so good for me. I love being able to get a brush nib that like can hold up, feels very durable, and is able to get both really thick lines and really crisp lines, as that is in fact the point of a brush nib, is to be able to get both variations of line weight. These ones definitely strive in that department. They're so fantastic. I love them so, so much. I also feel like I cheated my way out of finishing this spread. I had such awkward space and I didn't really know what to fill it with, so I really just went for like basic fillers of filling the rest of that right side of the page. And then I also modified this other drawing of Chapel Roan I did long ago with the other kind of acrylic markers that Arrtx offers, because I really liked this sketch, and then I don't know why I gave her such like a snatched like jaw area. I hated it. It was really bad. So I fixed that with these markers, which was so good for me. But thank you so much if you made it this far in the video. Remember to fill out that Google Forms in the description box below to be entered for the giveaway to win these markers for yourself. And then I will see you guys in the next one.